All right, Ulm turn 81. A bit of a quieter turn for us. Doing a little remote site searching, mostly missing. In fact, completely missing in this case. Just trying to finish out, our searching. We have, especially with early age Ulm, you end up with a lot of searches at like level 1 or level 2. So it's kind of nice to close these out. Still not totally sure, what the balance is, whether this is really worth it. If you've already searched something at 2, is it worth it to finish it out with a remote site searching spell? Because, as you can see, there's a lot of misses with these. And, you do spend a lot of gems doing this. So, yeah, still not sure on the balance of that. But, it always irks me if there's a possibility of, some amazing site that's in a province, that we could have found that we haven't. So, there is a certain satisfaction in just knowing that, okay, everything... You've found it all. So bringing in more Wraith Lords as well. And then, continuing to kind of do our province trading with These are our research mages, we're trying to get back home. And then, we retook a province from still like sorting out, who's going to end up with what. But this is not really raiding or anything like that. The war is over, currently at least. And then we caught a few battles in the Baratos-Vanheim War. So let's take a look. I think most of these are relatively interesting. So this guy comes from like an independent site. I can't remember. I think it's like Castle Arcanum or something. You can get like wizards, but you can also get these warrior mages who are kind of like interesting thugs. I can never really make them work. I really want to make them work, but they have the human level hit points, like a bit more than average, but still pretty low hit points, which is a huge problem. They're also kind of old, which is an issue. Like not all of them. This guy's a bit older, but I think they usually come in at like anywhere like 46, 48. Sometimes like they're already old when you recruit them. They get like a variety of paths, so they're just kind of interesting, like cool, mages, and I always want to try to thug them. And it looks like what is this? I think Baratos has this site, so he's gone ahead and also tried to thug them. And it looks like, mostly just doing like some air stuff. In terms of gear, I think he's lost an arm. So that kind of hurts. But he only has a lifelong protection. Well, only a lifelong protection. As we've seen, lifelong protections are pretty good. So he might not need anything else. He's just going to spam out like a bunch of phantasmal warriors, doing some lightning bolts. So he's not actually sending them in. And a huge wave of imps is enough to take out PD. So anyway, these guys are kind of interesting. You can see though, fatigue is definitely a problem. Like look at this encumbrance. He's got old age. He's in a swamp. It's extremely cold. So his basic encumbrance at least isn't too bad. But anyway, these guys interesting, but can be kind of hard to use. But that worked out for him. Although it's pretty minimal opposition. And then let's see, this is an attack by Vanheim, kind of a raid, I guess. So is this a couple 4, I think 4 Van Jarl thugs. Always hard to tell. Pretty heavily kitted. I think we've seen some of these guys, cleaning out independence. And they're up against a little bit. Mostly PD, the Barbarian PD, though, which can definitely be scary. And he's got an Enchantress back here with pretty solid paths. No gems, though. This is a caster that could be doing Foul Vapors. Not that, that would just poison his PD as well. He doesn't really have anything to take advantage. And I think Vanheim has poison resistance on his Bless. So Foul Vapors wouldn't really help. So I'm not. She maybe was out site searching. Not sure why. She is set to advance and cast spells. Although sadly, she just cast Wooden Warriors back on these guys and missed. And then they go attack rear and that's the end of that. So Van Jarls, they can get flight, and I think that's all the commanders. It is really pretty tough to flyers are usually pretty good at wiping out PD because the PD commanders don't get any bodyguards, and they tend to lag behind the PD, so they tend to be like the last guys. So if you have flyers and you do attack rear, oftentimes you can just snipe all the commanders. Definitely a reason to beef up your PD. Even if it's just like 1 or 2 commanders that you add that have bodyguards, you just have them hang back. That can really help, prevent just getting your PD commanders ganked by flyers. But anyway, yeah, this would have been really tough to stop. These are some pretty heavily kitted Vanjarls, and 4 of them. So yeah, that's kind of scary. And then let's see, this is an attack by Baratos. And yeah, I mean, this is a full-on army. This is a pretty convincing-looking army. It's pretty much just PD. I think, yeah, this is Vanhurst, so it's PD commander. I'm not really sure why the PD is split like this. It's kind of interesting. Maybe he's just recruiting heavy infantry here. But yeah, I mean, we've seen Baratos' Sacreds a long time ago now. But like, yeah, they're decent. And then he's got a ton of these ears, which are hugely damaging, right? They get 3 attacks, pretty good like attack skill. Not a lot of protection. They are sacred as well, so they get to carry the bless. And then he's got a bunch of these, warrior mages that we were just talking about. You can see they get a variety of paths. None of them are really kitted up. So it looks like he's probably using them, just as like support casters, and then like what is this? Some human troops, probably really, especially the militia is really just more like siege strength. That's why they're in the back. Not really intended to do any fighting. Maybe catch a few flyers. And then speaking of, maybe these guys as well, hoping to catch some flyers. And then, in terms of mage support, let's see, he's got some of these like ill earths. So I think this is from the corrupted king of elemental earth. So I think he's like corrupted by blood. And I think he can just like bring these in. So he's not present here, but it's just, some of his posse are here. And they're basically just earth elementals, I think. They probably have like better regeneration. I think normally earth elementals just have 10%, 5%. Don't remember offhand. But yeah, I mean, these guys aren't like, they're only size 4. They're tramplers. But yeah, I mean, they can't trample as much as like full-sized elementals. Although, I mean, the elves are mostly, size 3 and smaller, so maybe they'll get to do some trampling. It's certainly not bad to have them, but I don't know. I mean, we've talked about earth elementals before. But still, I mean, this is a pretty convincing looking army. I will say there is not a ton of mage support. I mean, there's a bunch of these warrior mages, but, they're not amazing casters in terms of like doing, army-wide buffs or like big spells, like, something like this. Like this is pretty good like thug paths, which is again why these guys are so tempting to try to turn into thugs. But like, in terms of, casting support spells, it's not fantastic pathing. So I'm not sure what the plan is here. And then, he's got, this is like maybe Fog Warriors? Probably Fog Warriors, I'm thinking. A lot of air gems, very like a decently powerful air mage, but then has been boosted by one. So yeah, not a ton of mage support, but I mean, still, like this is a ton of like really scary stuff. And yeah, he's got a Divine Bless. So I don't remember, attack 4, that's pretty good. Defense 4, yeah, magic weapons, that's legit. So yeah, I mean, these Colossi Warriors are going to be super scary. These Seers are going to be super scary. And if he gets Fog Warriors down on him, probably she's not going to cast it because this is not like enough to trigger gem usage. But yeah, I gotta believe that's Fog Warriors, so that's gonna help a lot, in terms of these guys like protection issues, right? Because everybody gets Mistform. So yeah, I mean, this is a really convincing looking army. Like, yeah, I wouldn't want to have to fight this. And then let's see, I think this is Vanheim attacking Baratos, and this is an assault. Interesting. And okay, yeah, so this looks like it's a research park probably, because I mean, these mages aren't like fantastic, although they can communion up, which is what they're doing, right? So this is a blood communion, Sabbath Master here, and then it looks like most of these guys in the back, all these guys are Sabbath slaves. Okay, these guys are masters. So he's got 4 masters, and then I don't even know how many. Actually, we can check. 14 communion slaves, so it's a pretty big communion. And like, what are they? This guy's a fire guy with some fire gems. Nice. So like, what, the boost is 3? Yeah, so he's actually a fire 4 right now, and technically a blood 4 as well. Yeah, fire 4 as well. Fire 4. So it looks like he's going with fire. Okay, so maybe like fire elementals. There wouldn't be much. I mean, there's like literally nothing here to buff. And then he's got what? Just a nature 1, no gems. And then, yeah, of course, Vanheim has their sacreds. So we know about these choppy guys. They're pretty scary. And he's got a bunch of trolls who, aren't the best troops, but they're not terrible either. I mean, decently high protection. Well, I mean, really high protection for the war trolls. Just for the regular trolls, like, still pretty good. Very damaging attack. They just have trouble connecting, so we'll see. And then he also has a communion. This is an astral communion from these lizard shamans. Not sure. Let's see. Yeah, nature gems. He's got this item that gives temporary nature gems 2 per battle. So like every time he goes into battle, he always has 2 nature gems available. It is a very expensive item to forge. You need to go through a lot of battles before this is going to pay for itself. But that said, like, always having 2 available so that you can't really ever get baited out is really nice. So yeah, this is a cool item, but definitely expensive. And he just has the 1 master. Probably like mass protection. That'd be pretty good on his Vanheers, on the sacreds. And then this is probably, a thug. A Van Jarl thug who's got a gate cleaver. So yeah, he's gonna be able to chop up just about anything. And then he's got another master here. Although this guy doesn't look like he has any gems. So yeah, it'd be kind of interesting to see what everybody is doing here. We have 2 communions on the field. It is, Baratos really doesn't have anything. Oh wow, Army of Gold, nice. You must have, a Troll King in here, right? And he's been boosted in Earth? No, he cast Summon Earth Power on himself. So yeah, Army of Gold, we've been talking about that. That's so he's probably not doing mass protection then. So yeah, you can see like 20 natural protections. Now these Vanheers protection is crazy good. And I think Berserk stacks, because it's going to add more protection when they go Berserk. We'll have to double check that. He put up relief with these nature gems. So he's worried about, fatigue plays. Okay, yeah, and so this is, I think, like living fire. It's a higher level research in conjuration. So like conjuration 5 will get you like the big elementals, but you just summon them in one at a time. But if you go higher in research, you can get a spell that summons in these size 4 elementals, so bigger than the lesser, but not full sized. But you summon in a bunch with just 1 cast of the spell, and it's uncapped. So, it's one of those ones where you get more elementals the higher, path you are, right? So, like, if you're 10 path or something, you're going to get a bunch of elementals. I forget exactly, like, what the breakpoints are. But it's definitely a good use with communions, right? Because it's like, if you're, fire 5 or 6 or whatever, and, you just summon a single fire elemental, it's like, well, you just summon the single fire elemental. There's not a lot of advantage over, like, fire 3, other than it's less fatigue. But, if you're really high, if you've been boosted up a bunch, and you're casting, like, living fire, then it's like you're going to get even more elementals. I think, they shoot through all their gems. It is, a pretty gem-intensive spell. So, like, this is it. I mean, it's a lot of elementals. Unfortunately, it's cold. I don't know what... it's only cold 1, so that's not the end of the world. So, -1 to a lot of stats for these elementals, which isn't great. But, yeah. Looks like the archers already got cleaned out. Not actually sure why these guys aren't running. Maybe they got hit with something. Oh, there's the Van Jarls flying, so maybe he got him. And then these guys still get to, like they tuckered themselves out, but they'll tick down. They don't have any reinvigoration other than the normal reinvigoration all units get. But he's dropping some falling fires and etc. So they're still like high level fire casters, even though like they don't have any gems. And trolls don't like fire. Oh, wait. Let's see. Yeah, trolls don't like fire. Although, Army of Gold, yeah, provides fire resistance. So that helps the trolls too. I mean, the trolls are still weak to it. But yeah, another moose. I think the normal trolls are the same. So I mean, it helps with their fire problems, but you know, it's still an issue for them. But I mean, that said, like, you know, they have really high protection, which helps against fire some, and then of course they regenerate. So you know, I mean, he is losing some trolls, and then like, you know, his van here is like, forget it. It's kind of interesting. Oh wow, they didn't get blessed. That's a bummer. Because yeah, I'm pretty sure he has. Yeah, I think he has the full elemental resistances on his bless. He does have a van Jarl, but I guess yeah, I mean, he is using him, yeah, as a thug. So it looks like, yeah, the bless probably isn't needed here. I mean, you know, he did manage to get Army of Gold up. So, you know, that's provide. Oh, some of them got blessed. Okay, so he did do some blessing. He just didn't get a divine blessing. Let's see, I don't even know if any of these van here's. This will probably hurt some. Yeah, it's a really good spell, that Flame Eruption. But of course, you know, not if you have a bunch of fire resistance, and if your protection is like really high. Okay, wait, there we go. Here's a guy that went berserk. Yeah, so it does stack, right? So like they got 28 normally, right? Berserk 5. I guess it doesn't stack perfectly, which is usually the case with protection. But yeah, so you know, once they go berserk, like protection 31 with some fire resistance, especially for the guys. I mean, still some of them, but the ones that are blessed, like yeah, fire resistance 15, like yeah, it's going to be a tall order. But of course, you know, they have the full elemental resistances, so you know, no matter which of these mages, you know, because he had other options in terms of like, you know, who to put in charge of the communion, but like it was always going to be a tall order, and he may not have. I'm not familiar enough with blood, like, you know, would there have been a better, you know, element to set as the masters? Maybe, but you know, he probably knew that he was up against a bunch of trolls and they're, you know, weak to fire, so I don't think that was a bad call. But yeah, it looks like, you know, that was probably one of his research provinces, right? You know, he's just using these guys to research, maybe for some blood hunting. And yeah, that definitely hurts, you know, losing, you know, a bunch of research mages like that. Although, you know, I mean, he has Arcane Nexus up, so he's hit, what is that? I think Alteration 9 or maybe Enchantment 9. I'll double check here in a second. But anyway, he's done a lot of research. So, you know, towards the end of the game, it doesn't matter as much. This can all kind of be nice in some ways. You know, because I mean, these mages like aren't. I mean, they can communion up, so that is really nice. But sometimes, like, kind of losing they cost upkeep, right? So it's like this is a ton of upkeep that's been freed up for him now, and these like aren't the strongest mages, so it's not like later in the game, if it's late enough, losing your research mages isn't the end of the world. I mean, obviously, once you research everything, people just kind of like throw their research mages at people because, you know, they don't have anything to do. But anyway, yeah, in terms of like, you know, gold trade, this was not good. You know, he killed some trolls, you know, which is good, but yeah, I lost a lot of mages. And then yeah, some unexpected events. You know, somebody got horror marked. We got some death gems. That's nice. Cured some afflictions, some patrolling, and Macone was permanently vanquished. So yeah, so honestly, got a little sad. He did a really good job hanging on. A lot of entertaining battles. It was a lot of fun fighting against him. So yeah. So what are we doing? We got, yeah, all kinds of movement, kind of just reshuffling casters and stuff like that. You know, I was like throwing Boots of Quickness on people and shuffling people around, bringing like Wraith Lords up. That's like what a lot of these movement arrows are. But kind of the main thing that we're looking at, you know, especially seeing like this major, you know, Beridian army moving up, like this looks pretty serious. I'd say that, you know, especially since he has Arcane Nexus, it does look like Vanheim is pushing in pretty hard. I think that, you know, just the size differential will tell in the end. Although, you know, we never count Arcane Nexus out. Although he hasn't had it up like for very long at all. So, you know, we'll see. But he has enough armies that this could take a second for Vanheim. and Vanheim's probably going to be kind of busy here. So I'm thinking, might be time to do some elfing. So, we're sneaking in, some Axe Warrior groups, our Overkitted Spectre, possibly. And, yeah, like we're going to try to nab, we really would like to nab, obviously, this throne. It doesn't really look like there's much here. They were using the Astral Window from this guy. What is this, Stone Sphere? Yeah. So, we're just trying to take a look at, like, okay, what's in some of these forts. Now, I think even when you scry, you don't see stealthy units. So again, there could be like, bazillion elves here, bazillion Einhairs, but probably not, because I mean, they have things that they need to be doing. And it does, at least when you scry, it does show you any sites that have been revealed, right, from enemy site searching, and then also like what type of throne, like which particular throne it is. And like, yeah, these guys would be really nice. We would like a bunch of air. These guys can commune together. And like, yeah, they get a couple other useful paths as well. Like, yeah, these are good mages for sure. Slow to recruit and expensive and old. They definitely have their problems. But like, yeah, we really don't have great air access. Better now that we have, the Crystal Amazons. But still, these guys are one level higher and can, join the same communions. So they're just going to augment our Crystal Amazons. So yeah, would love to pick up this throne. There's a couple other forts here. Not really looking to like, taking all of Vanheim would be a huge, or, a really tall order. So yeah, it was talking with Hinnom and, saying like, hey, I'm thinking about attacking Vanheim. Where are you at? And like, he was interested. Like, obviously he still has problems. He's probably not going to be ready like immediately. But that's fine, because it's like, if we time this right, it's like Vanheim will be fighting Baratos, and then I'll come in, and then, with Hinnom coming in, like, maybe third. Yeah, I mean, we could possibly, between the three of us, completely knock out Vanheim. And I'm not really looking to like completely, something like here, I think would make good borders. Because it's like, you get some mountain passes here that'll make it, more difficult for Vanheim to move through, although we can still move a lot of our troops through. But yeah, so that'll net us a throne, and then like from there, like we'd have to conquer like all of Vanheim to get like another throne. And like, where is their capital? Yeah, it'd be nice to pick up their capital, but like, so I mean, and this might be a bit tough because this is their cap circle. But depending on how much pressure they're under, we might be able to, like grab all of this and then convince them that like, yeah, you have other problems with Baratos and Hinnom, and then peace out. And then the problem with this plan obviously is Helheim is continuing to eat. It looks like they've cracked Marverni's capital, so we're trying to get a scout on there so we can see what's going on. So yeah, I mean, Helheim could spoil this whole plan, but it's, again, like I said, with Vanheim busy right now, and also hasn't really shown a lot of interest in attacking attacking Helheim immediately. I know they'd mentioned that they were having like some issues with the underwater nations. So like, yeah, I think the player that subbed in was like actually an underwater nation that was eliminated. So I don't know whether like, some ill will carried over, and they decided that they're going to chase that player up onto land as well, or whether the underwater players felt like, I mean, there is a coastal throne right here, so like, is not like the worst. He has some coastline. It's not the worst target for them to be attacking. So yeah, I don't know if that's started quite yet, but yeah, I know that, also too, this army is still hanging out here. I'm not even sure at this point. I may not have had a non-aggression pact with we're still, I'm still trying to get these guys out. We're still sort of like negotiating about who's going to end up with what exactly. So yeah, I mean, it's not really to the point where is, looking to jump in on Helheim right away. And, it still looks like Yomi is, at peace, with Helheim. So it's like, I'm not going to so not gonna jump in solo on Helheim thinking like, okay, like Vanheim's pretty busy, my army is like right here, so like let's go surprise Vanheim. And then to that end, like we have a ton of stuff stacked up here, but most of it is hiding, right? So we have like all of our human troops can hide, so like they're just hiding, so it doesn't look as threatening. And then we're actually just gonna, take our non-stealthy stuff for a walk. So they're moving up to this province, like off the border. And we don't lose any research off of this because, like, these commanders, they're not mages, so it's kind of like a free move for us. It doesn't really hurt us. And then, of course, the fact that we have this agreement where, we're kind of moving our research mages out of, like, Ur's territory, it's going to still look to Vanheim like Ur and I am still fighting, which is just all the better. So, because these less likely, right? It's like, oh, Ur and Ulm are still fighting, so like I don't have to worry. And if I move the visible troops like off the border, then yeah. So hoping, to keep him docile and make sure keep his focus, on Baratos, and then hopefully ambush him. In terms of, we're bringing in more Wraith Lords. Let's see, bringing in another Wraith Lord this turn. Doing just a little bit of forging, mostly just, the Dragon Helms, because, eventually Wailing wins. And, we have morale problems. This guy actually has decent morale. But I think it's the shaman side, and this is being boosted too from some experience. So yeah, we need as many of those dragon helms as possible, the morale hats. So yeah, always making those, and then just doing some remote site searching really is like the main thing kind of that we're doing with our casting at the moment. I think we are using some of our Wraith Lords that are hanging out. I don't think we've actually started it yet. We have, a ton of stuff here. Yeah, I think this is the turn that we start. Yeah, so we're summoning in some ghosts. So, some units can just summon allies. That's a command they can perform. And, it depends on, like, the unit. So it depends on, like, who they're allied with, if you will. So, like, for instance, those Ill-Earths. This is the, same kind of command. So if you have Father Ill-Earth and you tell him to summon allies, he's going to summon those, corrupted earth elementals that we saw Baratos had. So anyway, Wraith Lords can summon ghosts, who are decent troops. I think you only summon them like one at a time. So, and like these guys could be researching. They don't have great research, so you don't really summon Wraith Lords for their research potential, but it's, I don't know, kind of a toss-up in terms of like, well, is it better to have ghosts or is it better to have the research? Because they are pretty slow to summon in. So, I don't know. I'm getting ghosts. Like, I think they're pretty good. I think they have like a fear aura. We'll take a look at them like once we summon them in. So yeah, we're getting some ghosts. In terms of research, we'll get there. We'll get there with Alteration 9, Still, increasing our research a bit. We're bringing more mages in, getting more research boosters. So, like, yeah, actually approaching kind of respectable levels. Maybe not for turn 81, but, getting there. So yeah, that's the research, and that's kind of what we're doing, and we'll probably filter like more human troops and raiders and stuff in here in the coming turns. Don't really want to completely break up the army yet, because Ur does have this army kind of just hanging out, and like I said, we're still kind of negotiating. So yeah, I think that covers turn 81. All right, Ulm, turn 82, continuing our remote site searching. A lot of misses in here, but we did find, some things. There's, I think, 2 water gems, like 1 per, I believe. And then this is just an earth gem, a nature gem, I believe. But yeah, quite a few misses in there. A few more misses. Like, yeah, this is a lot of gems that we're spending. So still not so sure how worth all this is, but at least getting like some gems out of it, which is nice. If the game goes on, for a long time, that will eventually pay for itself. But it's probably not the most efficient remote site searching ever. But it's always a bit of a gamble. Bringing in more Wraith Lords. This was our Our research mages have almost made it home. I think this is the last enemy province that they're on top of, and so far the agreement's been holding. So that's cool. Definitely appreciate that from the sub. And then we caught some battles between other people. So this is between Baratos and Vanheim. Baratos attacking. And I think we saw most of this army before. He's added in Father Illerth here, so this is the corrupted, king of elemental earth that I had mentioned. And he probably makes like a decent super combatant. He's not been geared out. Like, he's also a good caster, and he's been given some earth gems, so maybe like some army of gold, something like that. He has a fear aura, which is a little unusual. I think maybe the only elemental royalty that has that. So anyway, he's pretty cool, and definitely like a solid addition to this army, but otherwise looks like it's the same. We have a storm coming up from a Vanadrot, so from Vanheim's side, and this is a pretty serious army for Vanheim. So a lot of Van Heers here, and then what are these? A lot of Van Herses. It looks like mostly Van Herses versus Van Jarls. Van Jarls, they look almost exactly the same. The Van Jarls got the sword, the Van Herses have the spear. So, and you're looking at all these elf images, is like you see a spear, that's a hearse. You see a sword, that's a Jarl. And then a ton of these lizard shamans, a few dwarven smiths. This is a lot of caster support, and with the storm going up, they're going to be able to summon storm power, so the hearses are going to go up to air 2 and be able to do lightning, and the Van Jarls are going to be able to do thunderstorm, and then of course there's Vanadrots in here too, which are his cap only guys, and they're even higher, so they can go up to air 4 and do all kinds of nasty stuff. And then and I guess the communion is probably the lizards. We'll have to see. In terms of Baratos, so that's all the summoning the storm power. That looks like some Shadow Blast, probably coming from a dwarf. I would expect, hopefully she's summoning Fog Warriors. There's all the lightning. Lightning is real rough. Let's see. Okay, so she's preparing. It takes a second, to cast Fog Warriors, and that can definitely be a reason to, hold back. It's like back position your army and tell them to hold an attack, because, these guys are not getting the benefit of that mist form. On the other hand, lightning has a pretty long range, so to sit for 2 turns while you just get blasted by lightning, not ideal. So there's definitely an argument to be said for just going in right away. So that's Army of Gold, possibly on both sides. Unfortunately, that does make them susceptible to shock, so that hurts, but at least their protection is really good now. And then, did we get it on the other side? Looks like got it on the other side as well. And then, susceptible to shock. So Army of Gold on both sides. There's the Fog Warriors, so that is going to help, but man, just so many lightning bolts. And lightning bolts isn't it's single target, and it doesn't really have an area of an effect, but it does do a ton of damage. So I think a lot of times people are kind of lightning bolt, but it's in these kind of numbers, it's pretty serious. Probably some Maws of the Earth and everything. Baratos, it's they have decent caster support, right? They got off 2 really big spells, right? Fog Warriors and Army of Gold. So both of those are battle changing spells, but otherwise they're kind of done now, right? That's it. That's the only caster support they have, versus there's still a ton of evocation magic coming out. It looks like those shamans did Will of the Fates, and I don't know what that was. But Will of the Fates, that's just luck on everybody. Wailing Winds also coming out from Vanheim. Relief coming up from that lizard shaman communion as well. So just in case there was a fatigue play, which I don't think Baratos has done. You know what, that might have been, that probably was a demon buff for Baratos, that blood looking spell. Can we see? Maybe not. He's got the Bless, the Berserk experience, but I don't see anything from the spell. So I'm not sure what that was. But yeah, this was maybe a case where, well, I think that was, yeah, like the mass air shields. Yeah, I mean, Vanheim pulled out all the stops, just threw a ton of spells. Looks like there's a little bit of attack rear going on, like sometimes with those long lines, you set them to attack rear, and like you can get a wrap, which is, kind of what Baratos has done, but like, yeah, I mean, now you got these like Van Heers who just have like all the buffs. They're lucky. They have the air shield, the protection. They got a really good bless. They're super nasty anyway, and like, I mean, they barely even needed to be used because there's just a bazillion lightning bolts coming down, destroying everything. So yeah, I mean, I felt like that was a pretty solid army from Baratos, but it just got annihilated. And I mean, yeah, definitely like a difference in terms of like caster support. Obviously, this costs Vanheim a lot in terms of research. Bringing all these mages, but I mean, I don't know. Yeah, that definitely seems worthwhile, especially like later in the game. Like, he probably has a lot of the research that he feels like he needs and wants. So it's like less concerned now about researching stuff, because he already has like a bunch of like battle-winning spells. I will say that the only thing potentially that Baratos could have done is, he had all his best stuff in front, and he did have some garbage, with this army, and like sometimes you want the garbage in the back because you're hoping to use it as siege chaff, and you do always have to worry about if all your garbage dies and it's enough of your army's HP total, then it just routes the whole army before your good stuff actually gets in and starts fighting. But having your garbage go in first and soak up a bunch of those lightning bolts would have been really, really nice. I don't know if it would have been enough, to change like the result of that battle, but yeah, I mean, this definitely didn't work. This was a brutal defeat, especially like, yeah, he lost 64 Colossi warriors, right? These are capital only sacreds, so I mean, at best he's getting 10 of these a turn. Pretty unlikely. So I mean, this is like 10 turns of recruitment or more, probably more. Otherwise, like, not terrible. The sit years hurts a lot. I don't know how fast these summon in, but probably not super fast. And of course they're like blood slaves. So like, yeah, I mean, losing 50 of them, that also really hurts. Otherwise, like, he lost 2 warrior mages. That's not the end of the world. He did lose, this is an expensive cap-only mage, but only the one. So, I mean, this hurts, but, he didn't actually risk that many mages. So, in terms of mage losses, not the end of the world, but, I mean, army losses were kind of catastrophic. And he didn't really trade for much, right? I mean, Vanheim took basically like no army losses. You can see like, yeah, the Van Heers didn't even really do all that much work. Like, so the Van Herses with the lightning bolts, a little bit with the thunder strikes probably from the Van Jarls and the Vanadrots. But yeah, mostly just lightning bolts. And then he did lose 4 shamans, maybe somewhat burned out his communion a bit. Although a few of the sacreds for Baratos did get into the back. So I mean, he did lose 5 casters, right? Which hurts, but I mean, he's got 17 shamans. Like, they're not that expensive. And then the dwarves, that kind of sucks because they're cap only and slow to recruit, but I mean, to trade for this anyway. Yeah, it's a good result for Vanheim, and not really what I wanted to be seeing, because yeah, I was hoping that he'd be tied up. So let's take a look at this battle here. So this is again Baratos attacking out, and also like a pretty serious army. Have not seen this one before. But Vanheim has plenty to respond with here, so lots of Van Heers, just way more Van Heers than you really ever want to be seeing, especially considering the other stack had plenty of Van Heers. And then of course more Van Herses, and I can't even tell, definitely some Van Jarls in there as well, maybe more Van Jarls in this army. Probably some Vanadrots as well. That's what the Blood Slaves are for. And then he's got a Troll King, probably Army of Gold. And then he has a bunch of these Magus? We'll go with Magus. So yeah, they're an independent recruit. So he doesn't normally get them, so he must have some sight. But they're pretty useful. I mean, you know, these are nice cross paths. The fact that they can all communion up, there's no randomness to them. Well, this guy's been boosted up from some items. So yeah, they can all join into communions, and yeah, they can do some nasty stuff. Like there's some useful forging and spells they can cast, like with this Earth Astral cross path, like out of combat and then also in combat. Probably the most common thing to do with these guys is, you know, just drop a bunch of meteors, which is definitely dangerous. So I don't know if he's going to be doing that, you know, with them here. You know, they could also just summon fire elementals or earth elementals. So yeah, not sure. Looks like he might be using them for their astral potential, right? Because like this guy's got pearls and has been boosted up in astral. So anyway, we'll see. Maybe probably like you know, Will of the Fates again, like that battlefield wide luck. And then yeah, but Baratos definitely has some stuff. So he's got a ton of these long dead horsemen. You know, I mean, we've seen them in action before. They're pretty good. And you know, just some militia, and then Solus also just sort of like, you know, so a good amount of garbage. These spearmen are, you know, kind of garbage as well. They're definitely not going to defeat Van Heers. Some elephants, which is, you know, yeah, their morale is like not great. You know, they're tramplers. They might be able to kill some Van Heers, but they will die really fast because the protection and defense is not great. And then in terms of a couple Mandragoras, kind of just random. They get these like sleep vine attacks, so they do fatigue damage. Kind of interesting. Doesn't have very many, so probably won't matter. A few nature mages. This guy's been boosted up. Not sure. Maybe like mass protection, although he does have army of gold. This is probably just swarm. And then he's got a bunch of vampires in the back here, who are another type of immortal, kind of the blood immortal. You see a lot of vampires a lot of times in the late game. A very good blood summon, and like a pretty good caster, right? Like high blood, high death. These guys might join up in a Sabbath and then just make a crap ton of skeletons. And then, yeah, these are some throne mages. And, like, yeah, they're pretty solid as well. It looks like mostly astral pearls for them. So, yeah, not sure. Maybe some soul slay or something like that. But he's not using them for summoning any elementals. And then this is maybe another fog warrior caster. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. This is definitely a ton of long dead horsemen. You see, they're pretty darn fast. So you don't have a lot of time. Yeah, so that looked like a mass protection, you know, which is sort of like the lesser, you know, it's not as good as like Army of Gold or Army of Lead, although it does have the advantage, right? It just gives susceptibility to fire, which can be a problem, but, you know, if you're up against a bunch of air magic, it doesn't give susceptibility to shock. And these guys actually have some shock resistance, so he must have cast a battlefield-wide shock resistance spell. So, I mean, you know, he's clearly aware of the, you know, the potential dangers of, you know, all the lightning. But it looks like, yeah, so they got air shield, you know, Will of the Fates, so they got the luck. Pretty similar buffs, I think. No protection buff, but similar buffs as compared to the other battle. But yeah, you can see that. Yeah, there's the Army of Gold, I think. Yeah, so now they have like really insane protection, and like, you know, I mean, like, these long dead horsemen are solid, but compared to these super buffed like Van Heers, no way. Now he is getting like some attack rear going off. There goes the Fog Warriors for Vanheim, and not sure what. Yeah, so some Soul Slay coming out. So that's probably what these guys have been doing. Let's take a look. Yeah, Soul Slay, which is not bad, right? Like, yeah, that's going to kill Van Heers. But, you know, I mean, he's got like, what, 5 or 6 of them? And it's a fairly fatiguing spell. So you can see these guys like kind of already fatigued out. So periodically he'll get off a Soul Slay, but there's just way too many Van Heers for him to Soul Slay his way through. But yeah, was kind of expecting a Fog Warriors from this guy. What did he end up doing? Mass Flight. Interesting. Okay. But of course there's a Storm up from Vanheim. So mass flight is not really going to help here. Maybe would have helped. I do think he outnumbered him. So, you know, if you get back and like mess up the casters, of course, you know, trying to mess up, yeah, like this guy, that's going to be a tall order, although he is asleep from his casting, but still, you know, a lot of these guys, yeah, wow, are like really kitted out. So like kind of a tall order for, you know, like soulless and stuff. And then of course, Vanheim's mages also priests, so you know they can, you know, do banishment on undead. Oh boy! And then there's the Wrathful Skies, kind of dangerous. Like yeah, there's a you know, Magus getting deleted. They do have luck, right? So he got Will of the Fates off, so that's gonna help a ton. You know, that's one of the best. I wouldn't hesitate to call it a counter. But it's definitely very helpful if you're up against Wrathful Skies, because it's like most things that, you know, the lightning is just going to kill you. But, you know, if you're lucky, at least it's probably going to take like 4 lightning bolts to kill you. But yeah, you know, the Vanheers are just going through. That looked like a little bit of Phoenix Pyre, but yeah, I mean, you know, yeah, this is rough. Yeah, you know, Vanheim's put together like some really scary armies here. Yeah. Oh yeah, and then there's the there's the meteors, which is probably off script. That's kind of one of the bad things about these Maguses, is like once they go off script, they're like, oh yeah, meteor time. Yeah. And also, luck is kind of a good, you know, anything that's gonna like just kind of insta kill you. Luck is kind of really, again, not a perfect counter, but a useful thing to be casting in those situations. So yeah, that went really badly for Baratos again. You know, he did lose, like, yeah, some of his foreign recruit casters here, which hurts a bit. And he actually lost, okay, yeah, so he lost, yeah, only 6 of his, God, he's 133 in this army. Holy moly. How many does he have in the other one? Let's see. Wait, no, this is Vanheim. Oh, right, because he stole some of Baratos' units. I'm like, why? So yeah, he's got 73, so like, yeah, roughly like 300 Vanheers. No, man, that is such bad news. And then it looks like this was on top of a fort, so probably since Vanheim won the field battle, he's going into Storm, and there probably isn't much in here. Yeah, just a milk cart. Not sure. I wonder why he didn't come out. You know, maybe he was doing some casting this turn. This is, you know, expensive kitting for sure. Seems solid. You know, I mean, this Iron Face, right, is going to give him Iron Skin, so he's got really good protection. You know, he's got pretty good resistances. This is a blood item, gives him a bunch of reinvigoration, right? So he's still not fatigue neutral. But yeah, and then he's going to be able to go Berserk. So, you know, will this guy be able to do it? Okay, he cast Hell Power on himself. Oh man, he's so fatigued out though. And then yeah, Phoenix Pyre, which I think is a pretty fatiguing spell. Yeah, wow, he took damage from excessive fatigue, so that hurts. You pick up, maybe already had that affliction, but yeah, he's like super asleep now. Hell Power is like good because, you know, just boosts your skills by quite a bit, like pretty much like all your relevant. I think it even gets your strength. Yeah. So, I mean, you know, it makes you a lot better in combat, but it's a fairly fatiguing spell, I guess, because, you know, he only cast Phoenix Pyre, which is also fairly fatiguing. But yeah, I wouldn't expect it to bring him up to, you know, like 180 and take damage from excessive fatigue. So yeah, and then of course, you know, horrors come to attack. I mean, they'll attack anybody. But since you horror mark yourself when you use Hell Power, and then Hell Power is what's causing the horrors to show up in this case, it's like they're probably going to attack you. So you never know. It does depend, I think, somewhat on like where they show up. But in this case, yeah, so the horrors are showing up and coming after him. And then there's Phoenix Pyre going off. But I don't think he was under 100 fatigue there. Yeah, now, of course, Vanheim has to fight the horrors that got summoned, so that's good, I guess. But, I mean, you know, these horrors aren't like the super nasty ones, so I don't think he's going to have any problem with it, you know, with his full army. And, like, yeah, I think that was the case, like, just don't even bother with the Phoenix Pyre there. you know, I mean, he wasn't fatigue neutral anyway, so it's like, yeah, I just don't think that was ever really going to work. But then especially like when he put himself way over 100, you know, it's kind of a waste of time. But, you know, I mean, who knows, right? Obviously he sallied out, so he was hoping that was going to work, and just may not have set up, you know, that script may have been on the chopping block and was planning on changing it or changing his gear or whatever. But yeah, he didn't manage to get to it, so that was sad that Melkart didn't really get to do anything. But a Vanjarl did somehow die. Maybe it was a horror that got him. So yeah, that doesn't look good. And then of course, you know, Marverni still getting eaten by Helheim. So yeah, this is a pretty serious battle. I think this is where, you know, I think it said it was the final charge of the Boars, but turns out there's even more Boars. But, you know, yeah, like, I mean, you know, Helheim is we've seen all this before. There's some Doom coming out, mass protection. Ooh, that was interesting. I don't know that one. Some sort of like mass fatigue play, I think. Oh wait, no, that was the animal, like master and slave, whatever it's called. Let's see. Yeah, so now it's just Boars Civil War. Looks like it wasn't quite as effective as the last one. Did he manage to boost their magic resistance? Yeah. So Marverni got anti-magic off, so, you know, good on him. But you can see, like, even with the anti-magic boost, it's only 9, which is not good. That's less than average. And average magic resistance is not good. But he at least managed to retain, like, pretty much all of his casters. And he's got a bunch of these ancient presences, so, and he's been dropping buffs on them, like this guy's ethereal now, and yeah, so maybe you're gonna get some luck on him or something, although he's undead, so luck does not work on the undead. So yeah, you know, I think that this is probably, let's see, what else do we have? Heat from Hell, probably from Helheim. Let's see, Howl, that could be from let's see if we can find a wolf. Yeah, so Howl is Marverni's, Darkness of course, and Storm is Helheim's. But yeah, it looks like Helheim's Boars are coming out on top. A little bit of gifts from heaven, you know, because Marverni is Astral Earth, but then of course Wailing Winds is up. Is Wailing Winds up? No. Oh, Growing Fury, nice. So that's like the battlefield-wide Berserk spell from Marverni. So they were expecting Wailing Winds, although, yeah, it didn't happen. But he's still getting some routers, you know. I mean, even with Growing Fury, you know, you get... okay, these guys have gone Berserk. Okay, interesting. Oh, you know, I wonder if it's a magic resistance check, and they, like, managed to resist it? I'm not sure. Because this guy doesn't even have like Berserker on him, because I think it's one of those things where, I don't know, I'll look it up. I don't know exactly how that spell works, but anyway, it doesn't automatically Berserk everybody, clearly, you know, because some of these guys are still routing, and yeah, and then of course, yeah, Berserks your casters, which is kind of like one of the main problems. So like, yeah, these dudes in robes are gonna go in and try to defeat this, you know, Helheim madness, and yeah, there's just no way. I think this might be his god. Yeah, ouch. You know, fully kitted, like kind of caster mode, a lot of boosters. You know, this is a rainbow. What did he throw up? Oh, we can't really even see anymore because he's getting nailed by a bunch of stuff. This is all Heat from Hell stuff, so, but which hasn't really been affecting him because, yeah, he's, you know, fire resistant enough, but yeah, and it looks like he managed to nab at least one of Marverni's ancient presences. And then, yeah, you see the slime effect around everybody. Like, it is tough to take these guys out, you know, and of course now, like, yeah, there's just a bunch of wolves. Oh, he managed to steal this as well. I wonder how is he stealing them? Probably, let's see. It's free from petrification, phantasmal, light lance. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes, like, when they're getting hit with like a ton of stuff, well, it's A, hard to tell. Disintegrate, so they're hitting with some disintegrate. So yeah, I'm not sure how they're, but I mean, it's probably like Enslave Mind or something like that. But yeah, so he managed to nab another ancient presence. Whoops, that was the wrong one. So yeah, it was mostly just boars. He did have a decent amount of casters, and his god. Yeah, I don't know. Like Growing Fury was not a bad call. I don't think anything that Marverni did in that battle was like a bad idea. I just think they just didn't really have the tools here, to pull this off. Maybe honestly like more gifts from heaven, because he really needed like something that was going to do some killing, because the boars just, were just never going to do much. And I mean, these ancient presences, they didn't get any kills. They haven't really, like, they're tough to kill, but they haven't really done much, I would say, in this game. I haven't been super impressed by them. And I don't know whether that's, from how they're being used or if they're just not very good. But yeah, wasn't really super impressive. His casters got some kills. His boars got a bunch of kills. Unfortunately, they were probably other boars. So, because in terms of losses, he did lose an Eater of the Dead, which I don't know how much he cares about that. But I mean, yeah, Helheim took negative 28 losses. So, he's just killing his own boars here. So, yeah, I'm not really sure what Marverni could have done in this situation. This is a tough, it's a tough business here. Helheim's putting up some really scary stuff. But yeah, that did not go well for Marverni. Although he's still managing, every time I think he's out of boars, he has more boars. And then there was just a ping in his capital. We can take a quick look, or not really a ping, but sort of, Helheim, just sending in like the one Vanhurst to just see like maybe this fort's empty. And it's not. So now he's got, some of these iron boars, some of these abominations. Yeah, this Gaze of Death, like, we've definitely seen him get some kills before, and then, he's got a bunch of his Sacreds here, and then, quite a few casters, so, like, this is definitely looking stronger from Marverni, so, maybe something like this will be able to do more work. And that other fort, it was, like, mostly just kind of chaff and casters, and just wasn't able to really put much together, so they managed to kill that Vanhurst. Obviously, Helheim doesn't really care, that's fine. We lose a scout, and we have some patrolling. We're getting some starvation, which is rough. Yeah, this is on our throne province. Throne of Death. Like, there's not a lot of people that live here. Supplies, not so much a thing. And we have just some of our human troops hanging out, and we're bringing through like some siege chaff, and like these bears and yetis. They definitely eat a lot. they take a lot of supply. So yeah, we're unfortunately starving this province a little bit. So what are we doing? Was not thrilled to see Baratos get absolutely hammered this turn. And then of course the other wrinkle is, I think it was last turn I realized, after I submitted the turn, that I actually had a non-aggression pact with Vanheim that I had forgotten about. So, I always, before, I go to attack somebody, I always roll through, like, our chat history and, like, double check to make sure that we don't have a non-aggression pact that I've forgotten about. In this case, we definitely had a non-aggression pact that I'd forgotten about, which was sad. So, not really going to be able to do any elfing. And I had actually ended my non-aggression pact last turn, because I was, I'd seen what Baratos was bringing out and was like, okay, I think this war is going to take a while, and it was completely wrong. Who knows? Like, Baratos isn't completely out yet, but he lost a fort here. He lost like 2 major battles, 2 major armies. That's a really rough start to the war, especially because Vanheim has been raiding into his territory, so he's by no means done, but what was looking like was going to be a really challenging war possibly for Vanheim is now looking like it's not going to be so much of a challenging war. And so anyway, so I'd ended my non-aggression pact already, and then watched, Baratos get hammered this turn. Was thinking, oh man, I've made a big mistake here with like 300 Van Heers that are going to be my problem shortly. But the Vanheim player actually contacted me, and he thought that like somebody was like paying me to come and attack him, which was not the case. I was just hoping to pick up some free territory. But yeah, he's super reasonable. Was not interested in fighting. And so yeah, we're still kind of like chatting. I was discussing. I'm like, well, kind of Helheim is like the big problem. And so we're kind of discussing about where we'll go from there. It's still kind of up in the air. So I'm still filtering. More raiders in. Yeah, just a commander, but I've got a group here coming in, like pushing some axe warriors like deeper in. So we'll see, right? Like depending on where things go, I figure I might as well keep pushing these units in, especially because if Vanheim is interested in attacking like Helheim and we can work something out, then I can sort of just shift focus to the east here, because I would love to pick this throne up from Helheim, because they have quite a few thrones, and it looks like whatever peace that Yomi and Helheim may have had is like now over, right? So this is a Yomi throne. The fort has been cracked, so like yeah, Helheim might be picking that up. And then they border this other Yomi throne, so they're starting to get close. It's a little hard to tell. Yeah, here's another throne down here that they're sieging. So yeah, like Helheim is starting to make some moves, and let's see if we can take a look. It's been a second. In terms of Thrones of Ascension, yeah, I think they only have oh no, they have 3 claims, right? So you need eight thrones to win, and they have 3 already. But I think there's at least one that they haven't claimed. Maybe not. So I believe they have this one. We know they have this one, and then yeah, they picked up this one. So this will be throne number 4 for them, and then throne number 5, and then possibly throne number 6 right here. And so if they pick all those up, they'll only need 2 more thrones to win, and then they have a couple of options. This throne is not too far, so if they want to go after Vanheim, obviously our throne not super far, they might go for, and then has a throne, 2 thrones actually that aren't like super far away. So yeah, Vanheim is looking like they're closing in on the win, and this war with Vanheim is looking a lot less attractive. And now that Helheim is attacking, Yomi, then we definitely have a built-in ally there. And if we can convince, Vanheim to also jump in against Helheim, we should be able to convince Hinnom as well. And then, maybe. Yeah. So now it's looking like, well, maybe this war against Vanheim isn't the best idea. So still moving some troops in, but if negotiations go well, then we'll kind of just shift this elfing over to Helheim's provinces, and kind of focus on, capturing this other throne, to keep the ball in the air a little longer, and, hopefully pick up some other stuff like Arcocephali is here, and there's probably some other valuable provinces. I don't know. I don't think there's any other like capitals around here. I do think Menchaca is in here somewhere. I don't remember where exactly. But anyway, if we were able to pick up like, a good chunk of territory and keep a throne away from Helheim, that would be really nice. The other advantage is that we definitely do not have a nap with Helheim, so we would actually be able to do a proper elfing, versus obviously like Vanheim is aware that we just ended the nap, and that, we might attack him. So yeah, still filtering raiders in, but may end up shifting them against Helheim depending on how things go with the discussions with the Vanheim player. And yeah, research the same, still working on it, and I think that covers turn 82.